So I grew up in Ohio, and it was really cool when the Lord called me to the inner city of Chicago. My role there was working with high school youth and got to do a lot of sports and basketball programs with them and mentorship with them. I just tried to love them and be me and tried to honor Christ in what I did. And I remember as I started working with many of these high school students and these guys that I would play basketball with, very quickly they would ask me questions like why I spoke the way I spoke. And next thing I know, they're changing the way they talk a little bit, or they're watching what they say when I'm around. It was fascinating to me to see just how something as simple as just talking in a simple, God-honoring way impacted people who've never experienced that before. And through that time, I really was able to use just my words as a way to minister to these young people. I mean, they grew up in a culture full of swearing and degrading women, and that's just how they talk to each other. I got to run a program called Discipleship Basketball. So every Saturday morning, me and the guys would get together and we'd play basketball for a couple hours. One student in particular lost a one-on-one basketball game with me. And he had to take all his rap music off of his iPod and put Christian rap and worship music on there. And he comes back and he's like loving this music. And the fascinating thing to me was that his language started to change. The more he listened to the godly music started to affect even how he spoke. I would watch how they interacted with girls, especially the things that they would say to them. And I just chose to speak about women in a way that would be more honoring. And they would slowly start to pick up on that, and they would all of a sudden realize that not everyone speaks to women that way. Not everyone talks about women that way or views women that way. One day I remember I was walking with a student that I was really close with. We were just walking down the street and he kind of said something at a girl walking the other way, and it was very degrading and kind of vulgar. And I just kind of asked him a question like, why did you say that? And he just kind of looked at me really surprised, almost like, well, of course, that's what you say to women. It led us to this really good conversation about how to speak to women and about just why we say the things that we say. And for him, he had never actually thought about it. He just talked in a way that he learned. He just said things that other people say that he picked up his whole life. While working with my students in Chicago, it was great to exhibit language that honors and glorifies God, but then it led to what's really important, is sharing why. That led us to many conversations about the gospel and how God has come to set us free from sin and death and to redeem us and calling us out of a life of words that are destructive, and to really help them understand not just to speak in a way that's good, but to speak in a way that honors Christ because we love him.